Elementis is under attack. The Aetherfiends have dispatched several waves of invaders attempting to destroy the aethercore. You and your companions are our only hope. Build elemental spires to defend us from the Aetherfiends and restore balance before it's too late. Welcome to Aetherspire. Unfold the game board and place it in the center of the table. Separate the floor tiles by size and shuffle each stack with the multi-floor side face up to form 3 draw piles. Place 2 aethercore discs in the middle of the board and surround them with the 4 elemental walls. Select 1 boss card of each element. For your first game, it's recommended to use the bosses marked with a Roman numeral 1 in the top left corner. Shuffle the cards you choose and put them face down in the 4 slots of the invader track. Put the boss cards you're not using back in the box and place the red invader token on the track's start space. Have each player select a hero to control. For your first game, it's recommended to use the starting heroes, as indicated by the diamond on their name placard. Return the unused heroes to the box, and give each player a reference card. Place the 4 Spire completion bonus tokens in this empty space on the game board, and put all the invader tokens into the draw bag. Keep all the dice, pillars, spire toppers, element gems, and spare aethercore discs accessible somewhere. Take the large floor tile from the top of the draw pile and place it multi-floor side up on one of the 3 platforms. Then draw 2 random invaders from the bag and place them upright on any 2 spaces of that floor. Give someone the active player token, reroll any side up, either based on who most recently built something or some other random method. They'll take the first turn. Your turn consists of 3 steps: supply, build, and invasion. During the supply step, you'll draw the top floor tile from any stack and flip it to the other side, adding it to your reserve. The reserve is an area near the board where you'll keep floor tiles that are available to be built but haven't been built yet. Once you've drawn, you'll have 1 optional redraw where you'll discard any tile from the reserve by returning it multi-side up to the bottom of its draw pile and replace it with a new tile of the same size. Next, draw 3 tokens from the bag to add to your shard supply on the elemental wheel in the top left corner of the board. Aetherspire uses the same tokens to represent invaders as elemental shards used to cast spells, which we'll cover shortly. Throughout the game, invaders can be crystallized into shards, and some bosses can turn shards into invaders. It's recommended that you place these tokens on their side when they're on the elemental wheel to help differentiate them from invaders. Finally, roll 5 dice for use in the build step. This is where you'll perform most of your actions and make most of your decisions. You may perform as many actions as many times as you like in any order until you either can't or don't want to do anything else. Every hero has a list of special actions described on their hero card and further defined in the glossary at the back of the rulebook, and they can all perform the following basic actions. Build a floor by placing a floor tile from the reserve into the fortress. Large floor tiles can be placed on empty platform spaces on the board. Later on, you'll be able to place new floor tiles on top of completed rooms of the matching size with no invaders. A room is completed when every space has a pillar. Some tiles have 1 or more smaller rooms outlined inside them, each of which can be built upon with a tile matching that outline once the room is completed. If a tile has no smaller rooms inside of it, it can still have another tile of the same size built above it once completed. Some floor tiles have a special effect, which resolves immediately when the tile is placed in the fortress. The ability doesn't happen again unless a hero ability says otherwise. The downside to special effects, however, is that no rooms can be constructed atop them. Another basic action you can take during the build step is placing a pillar on a space by discarding a die of the matching element. Star symbols are wild and can be used as any element, but pillars can only be placed on multi-floor tiles using stars. If a space has a symbol with a plus sign and another element icon, that means that space requires an additional element die to place a pillar. Both the base element and the additional element must be discarded at the same time, and again, stars are wild. Each space can only hold one pillar, and you can't place a pillar on a space with an invader. You can also cast a spell during the build step by discarding element shards from your elemental wheel back to the bag. The lava bomb costs 1 earth and 1 fire and destroys any 2 invaders in the fortress. Discard these troublemakers back to the bag. The firestorm costs 1 fire and 1 air and allows you to move any invader to another space, regardless of its element. Then you may place a pillar on any space that doesn't already have one, as long as there's not an invader on it. This spell is particularly useful for getting around difficult pillar requirements. The ice beam costs 1 water and 1 air and crystallizes 2 invaders in the same room, turning them into shards. The mudslide costs 1 earth and 1 water and allows you to roll 3 more dice, in addition to the 5 you started the turn with. And floor crafting costs any 2 shards, allowing you to draw 1 floor tile with 1 optional redraw, just as you did during the supply step. If you pay an additional shard, you can add a multi-floor tile to the reserve instead. Once per turn, you can re-roll any dice by flipping the active player token to the other side. Then re-roll any number of unused dice, including any additional dice you've gained throughout the turn, such as the ones resulting from a mudslide. Finally, if your fortress has a stack of 4 floors of the same element, one atop the other, you can complete a spire. The top room of the stack must be a small room with no pillars or invaders, but multi-floor tiles count as all 4 elements, and there is no limit to the number of multi-floor tiles that can be included in a spire. Place a spire topper on top of the spire and the element's gem on top of that. When you complete a spire, immediately remove the boss card of that element from the board, even if that boss never awakened. That Aetherfiend is no longer a problem. If this was your 4th spire, congratulations! You've defeated all the Aetherfiends and sealed the rift for good. Hopefully. If not, choose any of the 4 spire completion bonus tokens to discard and gain that benefit. Then remove 5 tokens of the completed spire's element from the bag and set them aside with the boss card. If there aren't 5 tokens of that element left in the bag, remove invaders and shards to make up the difference. When you've done everything you're going to do for the build step of your turn, the invasion continues. First, advance the invasion token 1 step toward the bottom of the invasion track. If the token reaches a space connected to a face-down boss card, flip the card face up to indicate that boss has been awakened. The effect described on the card will make life harder for the heroes until that boss has been defeated, or some other effect causes the boss to go dormant again. If the token reaches the last space of the track, you have failed to stop the invasion, and you lose the game. Otherwise, you'll end your turn by drawing a number of invaders from the bag equal to the number indicated next to the current space of the invasion track, and placing them in the fortress. Invaders can only be placed in spaces matching their element, with a preference for single-element rooms over multi-rooms. If there are 2 or more rooms of equal preference, it will always choose to go as high as possible. For example, an invader will always invade a floor that's 2 levels up before one that's on the ground, and it will always choose to perch on top of a pillar in that level, over-occupying an empty space. If there is no suitable space for an invader drawn from the bag, it will attack the heroes. If the wall of that element is still present, the invader will destroy the wall by destroying itself. Set the wall aside and put the destroyed invader back in the bag. If the wall has already been destroyed, the invader instead destroys an aethercore disc. If the last aethercore disc is destroyed, the heroes can no longer do anything to stop the invasion and are defeated. When you've finished the invasion step, discard any unused dice, but leave the reserve, elemental wheel, and, of course, everything in the fortress as they are. Pass the active player token clockwise to the next player, reroll any side up. The game ends in victory as soon as all 4 spires have been built. The heroes lose if the last aethercore disc is destroyed, the invasion marker reaches the bottom of the track, or they run out of pillars to place in the fortress. And that's everything you need to know to play Aetherspire. A glossary of common terminology and iconography can be found at the back of the rulebook. Now get out there and save Elementis!
Of course, it's worth noting that this video is based on an early prototype sent to us by Phase Shift Games, so the retail version may look or play slightly different than the version described here. By the time that version hits shelves, though, we'll have an updated how-to for you to learn from. If you like what you saw here, give us a like and a subscribe, and go check out some of the other fun stuff we've been up to. Bye-bye!